It's our weekly conversation with the Milwaukee Admirals coaching staff, and today we're joined by Milwaukee Admirals assistant coach Scott Ford. It's good to see you, Ford. We haven't spoken in quite some time. What has this situation this year been like for you in Chicago?
It's definitely been, trying at times. It's been actually, fulfilling in a lot of senses where we've had, a lot of players get opportunities up in Nashville, which is, what we've prided ourselves on doing here with development and working hard with our youth and our young prospects. We had a few years here and trying to develop their games so that they're able to play at the NHL level. So that's been fulfilling. It's just been, basically like all of our years, a lot of patience, a lot of, just unique situations that we're in that we're coping with as a staff and individually, and just trying to get the best, out of a unique situation and, get the best for our players. And, we've all sacrificed a lot throughout this year, besides sports. So this is, it's been different, but we found a way to come together with another staff, from Carolina and to in the Wolves organization to put a product on the ice and to be successful.
Sacrificing, adapting. We've all had to go through that this year with the COVID protocols. The Wolves haven't played since March 14th, scheduled to play again. So it'll be roughly 2 weeks between games. Do you think it's made you a better coach on the ice, or maybe even maybe off the ice, perhaps because of all the things that it's thrown at you and it's taught you certain things? Maybe you're working with skill development has taught you something. Do you think it's given you a better experience, or at least a different experience?
A different experience for sure. I think it's forced us all to be versatile in the way we think and the way that we, conduct ourselves on a daily basis, because you never know what's going to occur. Different protocols that we went through, different, guys going up from the taxi squad, different difference with lineups, etc. So it's been interesting in the fact that, we're not doing our exact day-to-day operations, and I think, you can use that as a positive where you've had to adapt in different scenarios, where done a little bit more, I guess, computer work as far as kind of scouting and player development side of it, myself and Greg, and just with our schedule not being on the ice all the time with main practices, but utilizing our skill development times and different optional skates and extra skates with the number of players we've had, because obviously having two lineups players in one organization, like we had a pretty deep influx of players at one time. That's slowly dwindled, due to injury and guys going to taxi squads and things like that at the NHL levels. So it's given us an opportunity to adapt on a skill side where we run smaller, ice sessions, or if we're in different protocols where we utilize, small group pods, etc., to practice and to continue to try to, develop our players and get the best possible, experience and product for them, because it's definitely been a unique situation for everybody.
A few weeks ago, and I think it was after the Des Moines game, I think on the 14th, I got a phone call from Jason Shaver, who covers the Chicago Wolves, does play-by-play for them, and he asked me if I saw this from Tanner Genova, because he said Tanner Genova has been just dominant every single shift. If you wouldn't mind, and I guess it's not really a question, but can you speak to that? There is a question right there. I said, can you speak to how good Tanner Genova has been? The Wolves are 8-0 when he's in the lineup, 13 points, 29 penalty minutes. It's a good thing he has broad shoulders, because it seems like he's carrying a big load.
Definitely. He's definitely come into this season. I think regardless if it was, the season we're playing in, or if it was going to be under normal circumstances, with a chip on his shoulder, and definitely taking his game to a level where he's opened up eyes and given himself an opportunity with Nashville, and it's with any other team as well. I think he's his leadership qualities that he has for a young man, and his, I guess, drive has been second to none. I mean, he comes with a purpose every day. He's a good professional, looks the part. I mean, he conducts himself very well. He looks like a professional. He's very, very put together with his physical stature, and he works on his game diligently. And he started to grow individually, and I think you've seen that as a player on the ice. And he's been put in a position, in a leadership position with our young, group this year, and he's taken the reins. He's, like you said, he's got broad shoulders, and he's taken a lot of weight on them. He's done a heck of a job with not only our prospects but their prospects, with Carolina's prospects. Playing the right way, playing physical, playing a heavy style down low. He's done a very, very good job with a lot of the heavy lifting aspects that we call in hockey, with protecting, sticking up for his teammates, going out each and every shift, and playing the right way, getting pucks into areas that we can retrieve them, pucks on the forecheck where he finishes his check. He's holding on to pucks down low and using his physical stature and his body in order to make himself successful. And obviously he was rewarded. He played the National Hockey League. We thought that was pretty special, and he deserved it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm curious, 5 defensemen that played in Milwaukee last season, counting Jared Tenorti, who has since been waived and claimed by Boston, but 5 defensemen have played for Nashville this season. I mean, that's amazing. Overall, 15 players from last year's Milwaukee Admirals roster out of the 31 who dressed have played a game in the NHL. 20, counting the 15, have been, another 5, I guess, have been on a practice squad. So 2/3 of the roster has spent some time at least practicing in the National Hockey League this season. That's a staggering number. What do you, I mean, I guess we look at last year's team and see how special it was, but those numbers, I guess, really bear it out.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time in the car, commuting as a staff to Chicago, and we actually mentioned that the other day. I'm not sure if it was yourself or somebody from the organization had put that stat on Twitter, and it, we were kind of taken aback by it, and it did show how good our group was last year. We had a pretty dynamic team, and the guys, credit to them, just how hard they worked every day and pushed each other to get better. And I think it was kind of a perfect storm that set them up for this unique season at the NHL level and at the American League level, where these players were running on all cylinders towards the stoppage, and they were able to kind of use that momentum and put that into play. I think when they went to their NHL camps, or they were picked up to play possibly in playoff bubble, etc. And it makes you proud. I mean, there's no kind of ifs, ands about it. We take pride in what we're trying to do here as an organization and as a staff to develop and to grow young men into professionals, and make them when they leave, hopefully they're better than when they came. And we're pretty proud of the opportunity that they've been given and that they've earned. They've earned it. That's the biggest thing. Is you can lay everything in front of them. You can lay a foundation, and that kind of what you think might help them or what works, but it's down to the individual. And those guys took it on themselves to be an unbelievable team, for one, and then now they've had success individually, and I think that's a big thing, where they created a team with a bunch of character people, that those people in turn had individual success because of how well we played as a group. And they all have different roles, they're all different players, and they're succeeding in their mold of the type of player that makes them successful. And we're able to somehow get a lot of that out of them, and to push them to understand, their it's not limitations on their ability, whether they hadn't played in the NHL for 5, 6 years, something like with Jarrett, with Tinner, or Grosnick this year, or our older guys, that they kept pushing our younger guys, that and in turn they earned an opportunity for themselves in this unique situation, but it also developed our young players, because winning breeds excellence. And
Yeah.
when you get that momentum going, I mean, you saw how well we were able to play, last year. And obviously unfortunate with the stoppage, but I think those guys rode that momentum. And I mean, to have that many players play from one team, pretty special, and especially team players that went on to other organizations and are making impacts there. Like, I mean, Colin Blackwell, for one, like,
It's awesome.
it's pretty unbelievable what he's doing with New York, right? And Jared played himself into a position where, when he wasn't able to fit with our organization, he played and earned an opportunity to be picked up somewhere else. And it all runs hand in hand. It's just because you don't fit in one organization, or you don't fit on one lineup, doesn't mean that your career is over, or that you are not able. There's a lot of other teams out there, and there's a lot of other people that find use for certain types of roles, and kudos to them for earning it.
Real quick, and I don't want to go on much longer, but talk about roles. The nice thing is, and it's probably due to injuries in Nashville, but a player like Jeremy Davies, a player like Alex Carey, a player like Matthew Olivier, Yakov Trenin, those players are going up and playing roles they're comfortable with. And that's so huge. It's not the old, the guy's going to play 2 minutes and somebody gets on the line and fights and that guy is done for the rest of the game. They're playing. Again, maybe it's injuries, but they are playing and they are producing.
No, exactly. Like, I mean, just to continue on that point, I mean, there was a lot of years where we played here, where we had good teams and good defense core, but for whatever reason you don't have injuries, or you're trying to step in and fill Roman Yossi's position, or Ryan Ellis or Eki, or the list goes on. I mean, those guys are pretty special players at the National Hockey League level. So for a young prospect to just jump in and take that spot, it's going to take time, and it doesn't always occur. And then, like you said, with the protocols, with injury, with opportunity, but like you said, they were ready when their opportunity was called, and they've taken advantage of an opportunity that they've earned. They ran with it. Credit to John Hines and their staff too, for putting them in positions to succeed. Like, yes, there's going to be mistakes that happen. There's going to be things that occur for learning curve for a young player, but it's nice that you get played some minutes and then you get put in positions that help you succeed. And then you've seen, as I believe as it goes, the more games you play and the more comfort you get at the speed of the NHL level, and at the physicality and just the change, it just becomes hockey, because the players they're good enough to be there. They skate well enough. They have a good enough skill set, etc. It's just a matter of getting used to that environment and allowing your body to react naturally. And once they calm down and get involved and get engaged at that type of a game, I think they start to succeed, and you start to see them be more natural, and it allows them to have their skills come out. And you're seeing that in a lot of senses, and we're proud of that.
Yeah, as you should be. Fordo, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for the time. Stay well, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys. It's great to see you.
That's Milwaukee Admirals assistant coach Scott Ford.